being well. Are we away? I think we're away.
Okay.
Right, well, I'm live. Hello, everybody. I've not live streamed for a while.
I'm not sure how to do it. Right, there we go.
You've got a comment already. Typical Wallsrail, always late.
Oh, right. Yeah. Well done, Dan.
Have you hit go live on your YouTube? It hasn't come up on your side.
Oh, it's coming. It's going. Oh, it's just come up. You're live.
Right, that'll do. We're away. Yep, you're on. There we go. Right, we're definitely away. Yep. We're away. We are indeed away. Right.
Okay, go on then.
Well, hello everybody. We are away. Okay. Do you want to kick off with that question in your chat? Because I don't know if you wish to or not. You've got, what's your views on the couplings? Is it hunt couplings? I don't even know. I don't even know what that is.
I haven't got. I don't know what the hunt couplings are. I do, but I don't. I'm sort of aware of them, but I've never used them, so I don't know.
Fair enough. Right. Well, we are well away.
Do you want to do introductions?
Yes. Oh, okay. So, well, I mean, you say hello to my people. I don't know if anyone's on my side, but say hello to you, my side for you.
Hello to Ato's viewers.
Who are you, sir? Tell my people who you are.
Me.
Yes,
my name's Nigel. I run this Wallsrail channel. I also work for the railway. I've done for the last, God knows how many years. How long is it? 35 years?
35 years. 35 years. So, yeah, I'm only 19, so a fair bit longer than me. So, okay, well, everyone, that's Nigel, and I am Kato. I am the man with the camera and the ladder who stands out and goes and sees Nigel when he's driving his wonderful 37s and all the other beautiful things that he may end up driving, which I'm sure we'll delve into at some point on this stream. We've already got people bringing some questions in, which is good. I don't know if you're keeping up to date in your chat.
Let me have a look.
So yeah, guys, the gist of this is chuck your general questions about Nigel, or if for whatever reason you have any questions about a spotter, do feel free to ask me. But I'm sure most of the audience probably do it themselves, so it's not going to be a.
Have you got that list of questions that we went through before? Then we'll start off with one of them if you like.
It's on a piece of paper in your house, sir. But I've got a rough idea of where we were with that. I'm just getting all my stuff up on the other screen. We're very organised, as you can tell, everyone.
Yeah, it's a first time streaming. Well, it is mine anyway, so it's going to be a bit clunky.
Yeah, do expect that, everyone. It's our first time doing this, so yeah, do leave your feedback in the comments as to how you think it goes for us as well, even after the stream. Right, okay, we're fairly in sync, ready to go. Okay, well, let's go with the. Have we got any questions in your chat? You've got a couple of questions about your YouTube itself. If you want to talk about that while I.
Hang on. Which one?
I think it's something about layout, mainline layout 4. What's I saying? Layout #4.
Oh, I don't know where I'm going.
It should be in your live chat. Okay, well, I've got a question here on my side.
Go on.
So we've got.
Right, okay. Right, I've just seen it.
Yeah, okay, there we go. We're away, everyone.
When's layout 4 main line coming? 2069. Yeah, probably.
Honest answer. Honest answer. Always the honest answer. It'll come eventually. No, okay, right. So
It will be eventually, but I'm just experiencing minor electrical faults at the moment. Then I'm trying to drum up some enthusiasm to go and conquer them.
yeah.
That's what's happening out there at the moment.
Okay, right. So I've got a couple of questions in my chat. Do you want to kick it off with that, and we'll see
Yeah,
where
go
we
on
can
then.
go
Yeah.
from there. Um, someone says in your chat, I thought we were going to be live inside the cab. That's not quite.
Oh.
That's not quite. Not
Yeah.
quite.
That'd do well for my employment prospects, wouldn't it?
Yeah, yeah. It's not quite the. Also, if anyone can in the chat, just let us know the audio is okay, because obviously we're not listening to what we sound like, so it could be horrendous and we wouldn't know. Right. Okay. So in my chat, I've got from BOBP Railway Videos. He says he's always been a fan of the 125s. He wants an insight into driving them, if you can. Like, what, like, I don't know what he wants to know. Whether they're,
They are possibly the easiest, I would say, locomotive that I've ever driven.
yeah,
They're really easy to drive. They're really sort of driver friendly,
and presumably,
and it's
carry on. Sorry.
so it's surprising. You don't get it in a lot of other things, but it's surprising how the way that you're seated, and the height off the rails. You can become very disorientated about how quickly you're going. Really quick. You might think you're going like 30 mile an hour. You look down at the speedo, you're still doing 70. It's a little bit disorientated, but they ride really nice.
So you always feel like you're going quicker than you are actually go.
A lot of the time, and then some of the high-speed corners that we go around. So on the East Coast, which is the only place I get to go on high-speed corners, where it's 125 mile an hour, and you can almost feel it sort of jumping over. It isn't, but that's how it feels like.
Yeah.
You don't get the same experience in the coaches, but because you're looking out of the front, you get a sort of like edging sort of effect, and it can become a little bit disconcerting, but you've just got to crack on with it.
Yeah. And obviously, you're with Colas now, I think that's public knowledge on your YouTube for sure. Obviously, he was talking about HSTs. Because he, as I'm just reading now, is one of the people from the Colne Valley, so the Pres side of HSTs.
Right.
I presume you've only done, because obviously HSTs have been re-engined, haven't they? So you had Valenta to start with.
Yeah, I've only ever done MTU.
So you've only ever been on an MTU.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. That is okay. So a lot of the questions are from my side, as I said to you, it's probably the case. We'll go with it. You were talking about, you say you find the HST the easiest to handle.
Yeah.
So someone has come over with how easy is it to drive a Class 37? That is a very wide question, I suppose. But the comment came up at the same time as you were explaining about HSTs being easy, so presumably that's where that comes from.
There's nothing that's not hard to drive. It's the hardest thing about the whole job is the periphery of what's going on everywhere else. Most of the time it's like driving a car, and if you can get in a Ford and drive a Ford, and then you jump in a BMW, it's the same but slightly different, and that's what it is from getting in an HST to a 37. It's the same but just slightly different.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously you've had a variety of traction on your card, presumably over the years. I think we've spoken about that together before, but I suppose is there one that stands out? I suppose that's a talking point at the minute, as that's where we are. Is there one that to you that stands out as like almost the best, or something that you remember, for example? Is there one that
not really? I think they're all much of the same, really. I've not got any favourites. I've got favourite individual engines, probably, but nothing. If to say my favourite thing to drive, probably be a 47.
Yeah.
Surprisingly,
Yeah.
a lot of people would probably balk at that, really. But you know, they really are that good.
Yeah.
Well, they were when I was driving them anyway. So
Yeah.
but it comes down to what I'm on at the moment, or if I'm on a 37 or a DBSO, it doesn't matter. That's what you're there. That's what you do, and you can't pretend to be on anything else.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go. So, okay, yeah, we've got a fair flow of things coming in now. So we've got hello Nigel from Bob Mills, says Bob Mills. So Bob Mills
I've seen Mr. Mills. Yes. Are you coming to Bournemouth or Birmingham in the future? It's the routes that don't feature on my route card, so the likelihood of me being over there is slim.
Yeah.
I have been to Bournemouth. Not one of the. Well, I've been to Bournemouth actually. Just did I go earlier this year? I went with 73s to Weymouth. Did I?
Yes, I think that
went
was
through Bournemouth, didn't it?
It may well have done. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you'll be able to tell this is one from my side. So I've got a little question here. So when you're out and about, obviously at the helm or driving, how many train spotters do you see? Is there any sort of specific things that you'd pick out for that?
How many do you see? Loads.
Yeah, loads.
Like loads, but not every day. You might see. Yeah, that's a future video.
Yeah.
No, it's I see all sorts. Mostly in Anglia. There's more in Anglia than what there is anywhere else in the country, but that's only my perception, really. If I was to go to Scotland, they'd probably be up there as well, but I'm not up there, so I can't tell.
Yeah. And obviously, remember, folks, just keep your comments and questions coming in. We're taking most of these from the live chat, obviously elaborating on some of them, but keep your questions coming in. I see there's a good few of you in the chat, so keep them rolling in. That's what we like. I just I think of that list we had before. Is there? Okay, right. So I remember this one coming up. So, is there a job, like as in a move as such, that stands out in your career as being your sort of favourite move? Do you know what I mean? Like a specific rake or something like that sort of stood out to you as being the one almost?
Not really. What I'm doing currently is probably the most entertaining that I've ever done.
Yeah.
But everything else, I was in conversation with a colleague the other day about similar sort of thing, and everything that's, because you're looking forwards, everything that's behind you doesn't really count, and it's never really bothered me whether it's been passengers, containers, or test trains or whatever. It's made no difference to all, because your focus should be out the front.
Yeah.
You're always aware of what is behind you, but it's not relevant really to. Well, it is, but only in circumstantial incidents. Like, it's relevant if you have a certain spot to stop at the platform, or if you've got 8 cars and you're only stopping at the foreboard and you've got 4 hanging out. That's sort of relevant.
Yeah.
But that's not something that I've ever had to encounter, really.
Yeah.
Not in my driving career anyway, because most of it's been on freight.
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose you spent a lot of time with freight, haven't you? You started.
So I mean, so long as there's stop boards in all of the sidings and stuff. So long as you stop at within the vicinity of it, it doesn't matter whether you stop 10 yards or 20 yards from it, but it sort of does with a passenger train.
Yeah. Is there anything else you have to elaborate, or is it, I don't want to come in on top of you there.
No, not really.
No.
It's yeah, it's if you could narrow it down to instances. I suppose it's not.
Yeah. Okay, so I've got a question that I know came up on that list is from East Anglia Diesel Traction in my chat. You've got so is there a route that you specifically do not enjoy?
You know the answer to that
I
question.
do know the answer to that question, but it's an interesting answer. I feel it's an interesting answer to go over on here if you can, of course.
Well, yeah, yeah. The one that I dislike going on the most is the Suffolk line because it's so disjointed. All the speeds are not regular, but it's not a particularly fast route. I mean, most of it's only 55 mile an hour, 60 mile an hour, but it's all the level crossings and stuff that are all different speeds.
Yeah.
And because I'm not over there all the time, it can be a little bit, I find it the most difficult one or the most challenging to drive over.
And of course, I suppose there's a lot of being on the work you're on now. There's a lot of the jobs you do, you end up doing at night time, especially in the winter. Obviously, most of the routes you cover during the night. I suppose you almost get used to them being at night. I suppose in summer it almost feels foreign seeing all these places in the daytime, doesn't it?
Yeah.
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 I mean, is there any other routes that stand out apart from East Suffolk?
No, that'll be the one that I, find the most challenging or dislike the most to drive on. Even though I do, it's sort of like I don't know, one of those love-hate relationships. I don't mind going over there, but the thought of going over there sort of doesn't interest me really.
It doesn't appeal to you.
If somebody was to, I don't get the chance to swap jobs at all. But if somebody was to come and offer me and say, "Can you do my UTU to Liverpool Street, and I'll do your, ride around the East Suffolk," I'd swap in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That's that makes a lot of sense. Okay.
I like driving around London.
Yeah.
North London line and the T&H and stuff like that. That can be really tedious because in the daytime, because you're always following a unit.
Yeah.
So, but all the connections to get off of the different lines. So if you starting at Temple Mills and finishing at
it's almost a thing of like
Park,
there's so many. Okay.
All the different connections to get to and from I find that quite interesting, quite entertaining.
It's a sort of a thing, you cover. I suppose with that you cover different parts almost of the same route on completely different shifts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One that I really do like at the moment is the DC lines out of Euston to Watford. For some strange reason, I find that most entertaining, especially with 73s.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, again, but I suppose you haven't been on 73s for a huge amount of time, have you? It's sort of a recent thing.
No, they were new to me the beginning of last year, weren't they? So.
Yeah. Is that I suppose that's the first. What's the word I'm looking for? Dual moded traction. Is that the first dual moded traction on your card?
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
I don't know. I imagine that's. I can't imagine. I suppose is there any shifts where you change over on from DC to?
Yeah, on that North London line one. One that goes to St Albans Abbey. I think you change about 4 times from diesel to electric and back again.
Yeah, so that's a fairly.
It's one of those jobs that it would be much better in the daylight, but because it's at night, that's what it is. It's at night.
Yeah.
So it's a really, really intense, 4 hours in the chair. I think you get.
Yeah.
because there's no break on it, so it has to get split into two.
Mm.
So you either do the first bit from Kensington Olympia and finish at Euston, or you do Euston and finish at Kensington Olympia.
Yeah.
So, but it's either bit is really intense, but it's one of the ones I really enjoy the most.
So yeah, I suppose. And actually, somewhat linked to what we are talking about now. So you've got a comment from my side. So do you prefer working in the daytime or nighttime? Is there a preference, or again, does it depend on where you are and the circumstances?
I prefer to. It doesn't matter. I've when I was working for a proper, well, when I was working for British Railways and for a proper train operating company, I used to swap for early mornings and nights.
Yeah.
So I would very rarely work afternoons and evenings, but that's what I mostly do at the moment. But,
Yeah.
But that's why the nature of the work is. That's how the nature of the work is set up, and my sort of home family life is very different from what it was in my early career as well. So
yeah. There's still plenty of questions coming in. There's enough to keep us going here. So someone on your side of things, I think it's more of a train question as opposed to the prospect of a driver. I wouldn't know the answer to this question, but it's somewhat interesting. You might not know the answer. What is the point of a fitted brake van on a fully fitted goods train?
there might be several answers to that.
Yeah.
So it might be, but well, it depends. There's if you go into the steam age, it will be because that's where the guard had to be.
Yeah.
If you come into the diesel era, when the guard ended up in the back cab of the engine, then it could be that the train was booked to have a brake van.
Yeah.
So it was diagrammed to be there, so that's why it was there. There'll be other sort of niche sort of argument answers as well, like we had on the sand train to Fen Drayton out of Cambridge, we had a brake van on a fully fitted train, and that was because we had to open and close the gates by ourselves because they were train crew operated gates. So there'd be a second man on the engine. He'd open the gates. The train would drive through, and then the guy at the back would close the gates, and then you'd set off again.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, it's one of those that depends on the circumstances and presumably the train as well and everything else. I'm going to assume this is someone you know. It's in my chat, but it's from someone called Dan's Model Railways.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this is some sort of joke, but I'll read it out for you. The comment says, does Nigel have a favourite signaller who he has to deal with? Is this man a signaller?
Yes, there's a portly signaller at Peterborough that's very friendly.
Okay. Right. Now, going from that one, I'm going to assume that's someone you know.
Yes, that's somebody I know. Yeah.
Oh dear. Dear. Keep your questions coming in, everyone. Keep them coming in. I'm sure we will scramble an answer between us. Just scrolling through. Is there anything to ask me as a spotter? I feel like there's nothing about that. I presume there isn't. I don't know. Is there anything almost that you feel necessary to ask me as a spotter? Why? Is that one of the questions?
Yeah.
Is it? Oh, this is your favourite question, Nigel, and I think you've actually covered it in one of your videos before. I seem to remember from watching it. Is there any favourite 37 you have?
No. There's ones I don't like.
There's ones he doesn't like.
Yeah. I think you know which ones they are. They begin with 6.
Begin with 6, yeah.
End in 07 or 10. Yeah.
or 1-2.
12's not that bad actually. 12 can. It's. I don't mind the 6s. Well, when we had them regular, when they were DRS engines, they were all right, but they seem to be a bit pernickety at the moment.
Yeah.
I've never liked the cramped cap and the modified driving desk controls.
Yeah. Yeah,
Possibly because they're just not original or something like that. I'm not sure why I don't like them. I just don't like them. They look odd.
Yeah, because
they've
got completely different cabs to your standard one, haven't they? So that's obviously.
It might be the same with those 69 things that have got like a 66 cab in them.
Yes.
So it's not like a 56 at all. So it might be. It might have that. Might be a similar sort of thing.
Yeah. Sorry, just going through the separate streams to see if we've got any separate comments. Is there anything you can sort of, I suppose more for your audience than anything, is there anything you want to hint on here while we wait for a few more questions? In your upcoming...
Sorry, I'm just taking my socks off. I feel really hot.
You're all right.
I don't know, really. There's occasionally stuff comes up. I get asked the same questions by all the enthusiast fraternity a lot of the time, which is one of the ones is, can you thrash it out of the station? It's
yeah.
Yeah, I can. If the opportunity arises, then yes. The answer is always yes. If the opportunity arises, but
yeah,
sometimes you can't do it because of speed restrictions and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which reminds me of one of my best ever blagging moments, because somebody asked me to do it out of Liverpool Street many years ago on a 37, and I just went into not that, and sort of I come up with the most crap sort of excuse that I possibly could think of on the spot.
Yeah, which was
I said, oh well, you see all this point work out here, it's 20 mile an hour, and it was designed for 4-wheel bogies. Like all the units that float about have only got 4-wheel bogies, and I've got 2 engines that have got 6-wheel bogies on them, so I'm restricted to 15 mile an hour. And he looked at me and said, all right, that's really interesting. And I'm going
yeah, whoopsie. I hope that conversation didn't go any further. I can imagine that would have gotten a little bit awkward.
No, it's like okay with it. It's like, yeah, that's really interesting. Oh, I don't understand why you can't do it then. And I'm trying not to laugh.
Okay. I have no idea. Okay, so you've got a question in your chat again about 254. As you've got a
254. Yeah, 254. When it first came, this is gonna. It might. You might not like this, but when it first came to Colas on the main line, it was. It scared me because it didn't sound or perform like all of the others that we had at the time. But
yeah,
over time, it's a lot better now than what it was.
Yeah. So it's like, in what way would you say it was different then?
Well, I had it on its first outing.
Okay.
And it had a bit of a traction motor whine on it, and I kept sitting to one side over into the desk because I could just imagine pieces of traction motor flying through the desk into the cab. It would never happen, but that's the way it made me feel.
Yeah.
So It's better now, and it's a really good engine.
Yeah.
It's one of the ones that doesn't break down on a regular basis. Well, I haven't had it break down anyway.
Yeah. But is it your favourite?
No.
No. Okay. Have we got anything else? Okay, that's a relatively interesting one. Obviously, as a mainline driver, when you finish driving on the main line, do you have any intentions of going into the press side of things, or would you ever go into the press side of things?
No, not really.
No?
No, it's not at this moment in time. You can't tell what's going to happen in the future. So at this moment in time, no, because it will never be the same as what it has been on the
Yeah.
main line. So, and I'd much prefer to be in my garage or at my desk building models,
Yeah.
because I find I get more entertainment out of that. If I was to go onto a preservation line or something like that, it would feel more like work.
Yeah.
And when I eventually finish work, I don't want to go back to work. I want to be entertained by my, hobbies. It would be a hobby, but it would be a working hobby, and I wouldn't at the moment. I wouldn't be able to sort of comprehend the two.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. I suppose. Is it to do with the fact of, like, you obviously on the main line you're flying along and all that, is it, isn't it? But I suppose is it the fact of poodling up and down at 25 miles an hour that isn't your thing?
I think so. And then you don't. Well, you get to do a little bit of distance, but it would be nice to go back to proper engines and coaches. It would be really nice to do that, and to have to hook off on, and run round and proper railway stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas today's, what I do at the moment is, it's just change engines. It's more like driving a unit than driving engines.
Yeah.
So to go back and do proper run rounds and stuff like that, that would probably be, it'd be entertaining.
Yeah. I don't know if this is again one of your friends or whether this is an actual comment in your chat. Have you ever bumped the buffers? What does that mean? Is that someone you know?
Well, you have to bump the buffers when you couple up anyway. So
yeah, I don't know if he means that or like the platform.
Unless you mean, well, at the end of the buffer stops or anything like that. No. Well, only when I've been tight for space.
Yeah.
We've had to be really close at Cromer a couple of times because we've taken trains that are too long for the platform.
Yeah.
So not that it matters how close that you get to the buffer stops anyway, but if you're going to be hanging out the back by two coaches, it doesn't matter whether you're 6 foot off the buffers or right on them. You're still going to be two coaches out of the back.
It's still off the back, yeah. Yeah, because Cromer's an interesting one, isn't it? You've got you can only take 6, can't it? So is it 7?
Is it 6? Engine and 6? Is it engine and 5 or something?
Yeah.
Is it? I know I've been 2 over there because we have the UTU and with SGT in it. So it's the ultrasonic train with the structure gauge train attached to it. That sticks out of the platform.
Yeah.
And then that's rule book to start ahead of a signal.
Yeah. So. Just seeing if we have anything else coming in. That's why I'm glancing off to the side most of the time. Not ignoring Nigel. So you got someone backing up what you were saying about going into Prez. They say, they did the same when they worked with BR. They didn't want to go to a heritage railway, as you said, too much like work.
Yeah.
I completely can understand that. I think if you more see,
I'd quite enjoy it probably if I was if I was invited as a guest sort of appearance or something, just for a day or something.
Yeah.
I'd quite enjoy that, but I think that's all it would be, really. I could only. That's still at the moment. So if when I retire, that opinion might change, and I might be desperate to go and do it. Yeah, you just can't tell.
Yeah.
That's 10 to 15 years in the future, and a lot can happen between now and then.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's just a fairly interesting one in my chat. Obviously, I don't know if you can come with that answer publicly. It's obviously, again, like we said earlier, with Colas at the minute. Do you ever see yourself going to another TOC or FOC or whatever different names
at the moment,
they go under?
No.
No?
At the moment, no. I'm quite happy where I am at the moment.
Yeah. You can see yourself going till retirement, driving the test trains and stuff.
Well, you can never see what's going to happen in 10 years' time. Things might be really bad in 10 years' time and might be desperate to get out. So, but in 10 years' time, I might be desperate to finish as well. So it's a one that you can't do. But at the moment, as things stand at this present moment, no, I'm not looking to go anywhere else.
Yeah, that is fair enough. In your chat, as to someone confirming what his question was about, he means hitting buffer stops. Yeah.
Yeah. No, like I say, only when I'm been a bit tight for space.
Yeah.
So.
Well, everyone, unless Nigel has any other things he wants to talk about, I'm going to suggest we'd like to know how you like this concept, whether you like this concept, and what you do differently, and all that other jazz. If you can leave that in the comments for us, obviously it's a thing we've been touching on doing for a while, so we finally decided to do it now, and we've chosen to do it as in the live stream format. So do let us know what you think of it. I don't know if there's anything you'd add to that, Nigel, as opposed to what I've said.
Yeah, if you want a specific theme as opposed to general questions, then if there's any specific themes that you want to sort of have a stream on or something, I'd quite like to do like just one topic. I was thinking about doing the waving video in this sort of format, but I think it's probably better if I do it on a proper streaming video, on a proper setup, so I can do other things with it.
Just before we do come to an end, that's quite an interesting one. I've never asked anyone. I just presume it's something you do know and are part of your route knowledge, obviously. So if you're driving at night, this is probably something around London that you'll see. You're obviously coming into a station, for example. Let's say you're going into Euston. Obviously, I don't know if you signed that route, but you've got lots of tracks running in parallel, and you've got signals absolutely everywhere. Do you find it hard to distinguish that, especially? Well, no, not really, especially at night time, because obviously it's easier to see a signal, I suppose, at night time, isn't it? But do you find that difficult, or is it something you sort of know from knowing the route?
No, it's one of those things that you just know. But it's like it's just repetition of driving over the same route all the time.
Yeah.
So you know which signals you're aiming at. You know where it is.
Yeah.
It's like driving to the supermarket.
Yeah.
You know the way to the supermarket. You know all the traffic lights on the way, and you know where to stop at all the traffic lights. So it's very similar to that. So there are occasions where it does, where there's outside influence that can be especially in London, you can, on the embankments and stuff, on bridges over the top, you can see traffic lights, street traffic lights and stuff that sort of sometimes interfere. But because you know that they're there, you know to not look at them,
Yeah.
so that you're only looking at your own signals.
Yeah. Yeah. I suppose I've never thought of it that way, but obviously if you're going under a bridge and you've got a road on the top, I suppose you do occasionally catch
Yeah, it's from a distance. So if you're half a mile away, you can still see the traffic lights on the top, but you know that there's a signal underneath it, so you tend to block out the traffic upstairs and focus on the signals downstairs, really.
Yeah.
But it's one of those ones where if it's a clear and proceed aspect like greens, then you don't tend to acknowledge every single one of them. It's only restrictive signals that you tend to be more focused on.
Yeah. I think we've yeah. I think so. Like we say, I think we'll wrap up there for today. But do, like we say, leave your opinions down below and potentially leave your questions and suggestions down below for specific topics or whatever else you may think make one of these interesting for you, and whether you want to get rid of me so you can just hear him, that'd be much better for some of you, I'm sure, as well.
No! I need somebody to talk to. I can't talk to a blank screen.
Yeah.
Something I find really difficult is talking to a blank screen.
All right, so talking to a wall or is making it easier for you.
Well, making YouTube videos in general, I find it quite difficult to do because you are literally talking to a blank wall, a blank screen all the time. But I know what I want to put in it, I just find it really difficult sometimes to come up with words.
Yeah.
When you've got like 2 minutes of footage that you want to put in, and you struggle to talk for that. I know some people have music and stuff. I've had music on some of my videos at the beginning, but soon decided that wasn't the way to go, and that full narration was a far better sort of experience.
Yeah. Well, like we say, I think we'll leave it there. But thank you all for joining, and of course Nigel, I'm sure, is thankful of all of his people coming on. He's still got a fair few people on your side as well. So yeah. Now I've got to teach Nigel how to end his stream, I suppose. Yeah, leave your stuff down below, everyone, and yeah, thank you for joining. Anything else? Any final words from you, Nigel?
No, that's it. Thanks very much for watching. I'm in the process of producing at least 3 videos for the upcoming. I haven't got it to hand with me, so I've got an O gauge wagon that I'm currently doing. So.
Yeah. Okay, well, everyone on my side, I'm sure you're already subscribed to Nigel's channel. It's thousands better than mine. And everyone on Nigel's side, bit of free promotion for me. Come and watch. You will see Nigel going past my camera in fairly large amounts. So, yeah, there's plenty of that on him. So,
right.
Yeah. Right. Thank you very much, everybody. And au revoir. Auf Wiedersehen. You press the end stream button.